All right, guys, let's get it started. Let's look at our percent equation this time. We're going to still talk about percent proportion, but really we want to work out percent equation this time. And what the great thing about it is it's really similar to percent proportion, okay? Percent equation focuses more on the words and how you can translate the words into an equation, okay? So it really starts out with part times percent times whole equals percent times whole. So, and that's really our formula and how we could solve it either way. Now, another way to think about this, and that's what this piece shows you down here, is I could set it up as that same idea of part over whole equals percent over 100. And I really could set this up as my proportion going, okay, it's percent times whole equals part times 100. Well, if I changed my percent to decimal, it would allow me to go decimal times whole, decimal percent, I should say, equals the part. And that's really kind of what we're looking at today. We're going to look at that instead of using the fraction, the percent version, we're going to use the decimal. And that's what makes it much easier to work with. So let's take a look at some problems that like this. And the key is remembering what is means in mathematics. Is means the equal sign. So this right here is going to be the key to setting up my equation the entire time. Wherever you see the is, that's your equal sign. So we have $9 on the right side, and we have 15 here. What percent? Percent's going to be the number I'm trying to figure out. And now we just have a simple one-step equation. We divide both sides by 15. We get P equals 9 over 15. Well, this is where we're going to have to use our skills from unit lesson 1 and go, okay, well, this is really 3/5. And 3/5 can change to 6/10. 6/10 changes to 0.6. And then the percent equals 60%. Now, I know you probably could make this conversion a whole lot faster than I just did, but I wanted to show you all the steps to kind of think your way down. That P up here is now equal to 60%. Go ahead and pause the video and try the Now You Try. All right, so again, similar problem, 24P equals, again, there's that is, 18. This time I'm going to divide by 24. P is going to equal 18 over 24. Which simplifies to 3/4. And then most of us can go, oh, well, 3/4 is 3/4. 3/4 is 0.75. 75 is 0.75 is 75%. That 18 is 75% of 24. That's how we find percent. Let's take a look at how we find the number, how much the number is, how much the part of that number is. So if we take a look at a problem like this time again, here's that is. So there's my equals. We're going to use n as our variable this time because it starts with a number. And then 40%, we're going to change that straight to a decimal, times 120. And really all we have to do now is go 4 times 120 is 480. Move my decimal place 1 to the right. N equals 48. So 40% of 120 is 48. Go ahead and try the next problem on your own. Pause the video and see what you come up with. All right, so n is equal to 0.3 times 150. Well, again, when you do that's 450, move your decimal point, n equals 45. 45, there we go. All right, last one. Last style we're going to look at, then we've got another word problem after this. This time, I've got the percent, I've got the part, but I don't have the whole. So I've got the same thing. Here's my equal sign. There's my key, equals. 18 is 0.25 of a given number. Now, this is kind of where I like to diverge and think a little bit. I can keep it as a fraction or a decimal, and I divide both sides by 0.25 and do 18 divided by 0.25. Move my decimal place 2 to the right, add 2 zeros, goes into it 7 times, 175, 50, 72. Or I can think of it this way, well, 25 hundredths is equal to 1/4 of n. Well, then I can just multiply by my reciprocal and get n is equal to 72. I get the same answer either way. But sometimes it's helpful to use lesson 1's knowledge of changing decimals to percents to fractions so that you're able to make it a little bit faster on your own. Go ahead and try your next problem, pause the video, and see what you come up with. All right, so you have 12 equals 0.8 times n, or you can change it to fractions. 12 is equal to 4/5 or 8/10, it's up to you, of n. Either way, when you multiply, I'm going to go ahead and do it as a fraction because I find that much faster. I cross-reduce down to 3 and 1. 15 equals n, and that's the exact same case I get here. I just end up getting 120 divided by 8, 1, and I get 15. So I've got lots of ways to do it. The last problem I want you guys to do is to try this Western lowland gorilla, this word problem setup. So an average adult male at the Western lowland gorilla, that's actually the same gorilla type we have at the Atlanta Zoo, eat about 33.5 pounds of fruit each day. How much food does an average adult gorilla go through? Well, it's asking me for my total. How much do you go through each day? So if I remember my formula, it's percent times the whole equals the part. Well, I've got the part right here. I've got 33, that's the part. What percent is that? That's where I come over to my table and go, oh, 0.67 W equals 33.5. So this is where I'm going to take and go ahead and divide both sides by 0.67. And I'd end up going, okay, 33.5 divided by 0.67. Move my decimal point 2 places, so it's really 3,500. Well, I'm going to say 5. That's my guess, because 6 goes into 33 5 times. Let's say that's about right. It actually happens to be exact. And then we have to place our last 0 right here. So our adult lowland gorilla, male lowland gorilla, eats about 50 pounds of food per day. It's a lot of food. All right, your last trick is this one right here. Sally reads the nutrition facts in the box of her favorite cereal. Each cup of cereal contains 7% of the recommended daily value of potassium. If the cup of cereal contains 260 milligrams of potassium, what is the recommended daily value of potassium? Round your answer to the nearest whole number. And pause the video and see what you come up with. All right, so we've got 0.07 times W equals 260. Now this one's a bigger problem. Really what we're going to take is divide it by 0.07. So 0.07, 260, which really means I've got to multiply 26,000. So it goes into it 3 times 21, subtract, get 50. 7 times 49, 10 goes, oh, that's once. 3, 0, bring that down, that's 4 times. 28, sorry, 2. Bring down one more 0 so we can know where to round. 7 goes in that twice. So we're going to say, okay, it's 3,714 milligrams, there you go, of potassium a day is the recommended daily value for potassium. All right, now that you guys got a good handle on this, make sure when you do your homework, you're doing right both percent proportion and percent equation, then solve it. You don't have to solve both, just choose one to solve with, but you need to write them both for extra practice. All right, if you have any questions, please come see me in the morning. I'd be happy to help.